And so hey guys, welcome to today's video. And in today's video we are going to be making an image generator in Python using Tkinter. And essentially this image generator is 100% free, and all you're going to need is an account on the Hugging Face hub by going to huggingface.co/settings/tokens and getting your free API key. So now to get on with the video, we're going to need to go to our browser and get our main API key. The huggingface.co website, and this is huggingface.co/settings/tokens. And once you're on this website, after you've created your account, all you need to do is click on this button right here that says create new token. Click on that button right there and you'll be taken to this page right here where you have to type in your token name, and it can be anything you want completely. And here's your token type. So for this video we're going to click on read right here, and this will be our token type for our image generator. Next we're going to click on our token name and type in whatever name you want, any name at all. And for this video I'm just going to call it image generator, just like this. Then click on create token right there. Then here's your API key, and all you need to do is copy this and head back to your IDE. In this case I'm using PyScripter to import the modules that are needed. And the first module that's needed is the IO module. The second module that's needed is the Tkinter module, which is a built-in module within Python. So to import these two modules, we're going to type in import Tkinter as tk, just like this, and then we have our Tkinter. And to import IO, we're going to type in import IO, just like this. The next module we're going to need is the pillow module by typing in from capital letter PIL import image, just like this, and image tk, just like this. Then the last module we'll need is the Hugging Face module by typing in from Hugging Face underscore hub import inference client, which is basically our main AI, just like this. Then we have the 4 modules that are necessary. The next thing we're going to need to do is initialize our client, and right before we do that we can paste our token, which is our API key we got, and set token equal to whatever you copied from the Hugging Face website. The next thing you're going to need to do is go to client side right here and make a client variable, which is our AI variable, and set client equal to inference client, just like this. Then parenthesis parameters right here, then API underscore key, set it equal to whatever you got from the website right there. Then you have your API key. Next we're going to make a window in which our image is going to be displayed. So to do that I'm going to make our main window, and I'll set our main window equal to tk.tk. Or if you want to make the Tkinter process easier, you can just set it to tk right here and change the way you imported it by typing in from Tkinter import, just like this. Then you have the full Tkinter pack library inside of your Python script. So now that it's set to tk, you're going to give your main window a title and type in main window.title. You can type in whatever title you want. I'm going to call it image generator, just like this. Then next I'm going to go down and make an entry widget where we're going to get our prompt from and set it equal to entry, just like this, and stuff it inside of main window right there. Then I'm going to set its width to be about 50, just like this. Then I'm going to pack it inside of our window, just like this. Then it's packed inside of our window, and I'll add a padding so that the image can have space from the entry of 10, just like that. Next I'm going to make a button, which is our generate button. I'm going to call this generate button, just like this, and generate button is going to be equal to button, and it will be inside of main window, with a text being set to generate, just like this. Then this is my generate button, and we'll give it a command of show image, and we haven't made this function yet. Next, we're going to go to generate underscore button, and we'll type in generate button dot pack. We're also going to pack it right there, and we'll add a padding of 10, and this is a pad Y, which is the vertical padding. Next, we're going to make an image display, so type in img underscore display. You can call it whatever you want. This is a variable name. It's set equal to label inside of main window, so our image will be stored inside of a label. Then we're going to pack it dot pack right there, and we're also going to add padding of 10 as well, and we can run our main window dot main loop. Now, as you can see, our button right here has a function called show image, and we don't have that function yet. So I'm going to go right above our main window right here and create our show image function, just like this. And this is our show image function. So the first thing we're going to need to do is get our prompt, and we'll set prompt to be equal to entry.get, and that is our prompt. Then if we don't have a prompt, by typing in if not prompt, then we're going to return, just like this. Then the next thing we're going to do is make a try statement to avoid any errors, and we're going to make an image data variable. So image data will be set to client, which is our main AI, dot text underscore to underscore image, just like this. Then parentheses right here. The first thing we'll pass in is the prompt, just like this. Then the model name, which the model we're going to be using is, type it as exact as I type it, and set it to black dash forest dash labs, just like this, slash flux dot one dash SCHNELL, and this is the exact model you are going to be using. Next, we're going to make a function that's going to keep our image inside of our computer's RAM. To do that, we're going to type in img underscore byte underscore arr, and we type in set it equal to io dot bytes io, just like this. Next, we're going to type in image underscore data dot save. Then we'll type in img underscore byte underscore arr, comma, format is equal to png, and it will be saved as a png file. Then we'll type in img underscore byte underscore arr dot seek, then brackets right here and add 0, just like this. Next, we're going to make it into a format that Tkinter can display using pillow, and to do that, we're going to type in render, which will be our variable name, and type in image tk, just like this, dot photo image, just like this. Then open and close parentheses, then type in image dot open, then more parentheses right here, then we type in img underscore byte underscore arr, just like that. Then next we're going to type in img underscore display. Right inside the function, right after render, we're going to type in img underscore display right here dot config, just like this. Then a set of parentheses, and we type in image is equal to render right there. Then the last line of code we're going to need is img underscore display dot image is equal to render, just like this. Then just in case we get any errors, we type in exception as E. Then we'll type in our error, whatever it's going to be, and we just write error right here, and we can just write error and add E inside of curly brackets right there. Then all we need to do is run our code, and our image generator is fully working in only these few easy lines of code. And I'm going to explain these lines of code in detail as I finish explaining and showing you how it actually works. We're going to run our code and see how well our image generator works. So firstly, when we run our image generator, we should see this image generator Tkinter window right here. And with our entry widget right here, all we have to do is type in what we want to see. Let's say generate me an image of Mercedes Maybach, maybe that. And then I'll click on generate, and all we need to do is wait for the image to be generated. And here's the picture of the Mercedes Maybach, and you can also do other things like generate me a picture of, let's say, Naruto, and then just click on generate and wait for our image to be generated, and we get our Naruto image right here. And let's say you don't like the image, all you need to do is click generate a second time right there, and you will get your second image of Naruto. And here's our second generated image right here. So you can use it to generate any type of image you want. It can be any celebrity, any cartoon, anything you want, cars, or any buildings, any country, states, or anything you want to generate. And it has wild capabilities and very low restrictions. So you can use it without a lot of limits. And now let me get into the explanatory part of the video where I explain the code in detail for you people that have not understood 100%. Now to actually explain the main code to you. So the first thing we started with is actually getting our API key token from the Hugging Face website, which is basically Hugging face.co/settings/tokens, and this is the website we went to get our free API key. Then we set it to read. After we got our API key, starting with hf underscore, we got these four modules that we had to import right here, and we started with the Tkinter module, which is a built-in module. It's internal within Python. Then we have the IO module, which is also internal, meaning you do not have to install it from any other pip command. Then we have the pillow module, which is basically an external Python module, which we use for image translation with Tkinter. Then we have the Hugging Face module, which is our main AI module, and is also an external module, just like this. And to import all these modules is very easy. For the Tkinter, we just type in from Tkinter import with an asterisk at the end. And for the IO module, all we need to do is type in import IO. For the pillow module, all we have to do is type in from capital letter PIL import image, comma, image tk, and make sure the casing is correct because Python is a very case sensitive programming language. The next thing we did is import the Hugging Face Hub module by typing in from Hugging Face underscore hub, or in lowercase, import Inference client with a capital letter I and a capital letter C. Next, we imported our client right here and set our client equal to Inference client with our API key being inside of these parentheses right here. Then, as for now, we skipped this part that says show image and we went directly to the window creation. And we did this because we need to work on the UI first before working on functionality when working with Python programs. So the first thing we did is create our window right here by setting main window equal to tk. Then we gave our main window a title by saying main window.title and set it to image generator right here. Next, we had an entry widget right here and set entry equal to entry, which will be put inside of our main window and have a width of 50. And we packed our widget right here, adding a pad Y to it with 10 pixels padding, meaning that the space or the widget before it or that comes below it will have a 10 pixel distance between it and the entry widget. Next, you added a generate button, which you set equal to button from the Tkinter library, and it will be inside of main window, and the text will be equal to generate right here with a command which is show image, and this is the show image command right here. Next, we have image.display, which is basically our image label, and we'll set it equal to label, and it will be inside of main window. Next, we pack our image.display and add a padding of 10 for the next widget to be 10 pixels below. Then we run our main window.main loop, which is basically just running our main window. Next, we have our show image function, and the first thing we do inside of this function is get our prompt from the entry widget right here, and we type in entry.get and get our prompt from the entry widget. Then if we don't have a prompt, by saying if not prompt, we're going to return this statement and cancel our program. Next, we're going to make a try statement right here and an accept exception as E, which these two go hand in hand together. In case this try statement fails, then we'll go directly to the accept exception as E, which is basically if we have an error, we're going to print out error with this E right here. Next, in our try statement, we first started with our image data right here, and we set image data equal to client.text underscore to underscore image right here. And the first thing we passed is the prompt, followed by the model name. And the model is equal to this model right here, this exact model right here. And this is one of the best free models you can get from the actual Hugging Face hub. So this is one of the best modules you can get. Next, we run these 3 lines of code, and essentially what these 3 lines of code do is actually store the image inside of our RAM. So this image does not actually glitch or fade away. The image is stored inside of your computer's RAM. And to do that, we type in img underscore byte underscore arr. You can call this whatever you want, but this is my preference, and set it equal to io dot bytes, misspelling there, it's supposed to be bytes io right there, and then a set of parentheses right here. Then we have image data dot save, which saves our image data, and this is our image byte underscore arr right there, and the format is going to be png right there. So image underscore byte underscore arr dot seq, then 0 inside of these parentheses right there. Then we've stored our image inside of the RAM. Then these 3 lines of code, these last 3 lines of code inside of this try function, is basically just to convert the image into something Tkinter can understand, because Tkinter cannot understand images directly. That's why we're using pillow. So we set render equal to image tk from the pillow library dot photo image, and make sure you mind the casing right there, capital letter P, capital letter I right there, open and close parentheses. Then we'll have image dot open, and then more parentheses, and type in img underscore byte underscore arr. Just like this, we have our first line of the render code. Next, we'll go to img underscore display dot config right here, and then we'll have image set to render, just like this. Then img.display.image will be equal to render. And with these last 3 lines of code, it will be shown inside of the Tkinter window. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe. And if you want any specific tutorials, you can either leave a comment in the comment section, or you can visit my website, which I'll link in the description, for more free tutorials right there from my website. And make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.